Hello and welcome back to At Ease No Media, where we discuss media-related topics at ease. So today in this video, we will be discussing about the previous year questions of communication. So the very first question, this is the previous year question of WB set. The very first question, so I have ascertained this particular section of PYQ because in the previous lectures we have completed the communication portion. Now from today we will be starting about discussing about the communication part. So communication, first of all we will be understanding or we will be decoding the question and answers, the previous year question and answers of communication. Then we will be moving to the next part, that is the models question answer related to the models and theory of communication. Following with, we will be talking about the question answers of scholars, name of the books and scholars. After that we will be talking about the history of newspaper, following with the schools of communication and the folk theatre part. Then we will be talking about the jargons and the names, important names or jargons, just like the hyper realism is a concept used by which postmodernist thinker, that is Umberto Eco. So then we will be talking about the current affair parts, that is the Nobel Foundation Award to Nobel Prizes in literature in this year 2018-19, the Nobel part. So this is back in 22nd set, which was conducted in 2019 because of the internal problems of the Swedish Academy. So this will be the current affair questions. So today's part we will be talking about very first thing. Let's start with the very first part, that is the communication. And the first question goes like, a video conference between, the moment we are talking about video conference, it is telling that a video conference between whom? A video conference between Shumita in Mumbai, Radhakanta in London, Barua in Guwahati, Jayanti in Singapore, Sudhanshu in Tejpur, and Parakshatra in Kolkata and Sunil in Bhubaneswar is what type of communication? They are talking about group mediated communication, because it's not mass communication, it's not group communication, it's group mediated communication, as well as it's not public communication, because people from different sections are joining, people from different geographical areas are joining, hence it is known as group mediated communication. In the second part, second questions, what we can see that in communication language is whether they are stating it is non-verbal code, or they are stating is it symbolic code, iconic code, verbal code, they don't know. So in communication language is verbal code. Alright, the next question which we can see is disruptions in the communication process is disruption. Disruption means disturbance. Is disturbance wall? Is disturbance feedback? Is disturbance transgression? Or is disturbance noise? Obviously it will be noise. And the next question, as we can see, is that the study of body language, gesture, posture, facial expression and body movement is known as kinesis. So this part, from this particular section, this is very important, kinesis part. Let's discuss it. What is kinesis part? Kinesis part is nothing but, the moment we are talking about kinesis, this is the communication part as we have discussed while studying. Just a minute, let me show you. Here it is. So for the forms of communication, the moment we are talking about the forms of communication, and in NTA UGC NET or it can be any set examination, this particular section is very much important, because we know that forms of communication can be divided into two parts. One is verbal or the words, and another one is non-verbal, that is the moral code, that is continuous. Word communication is non-continuous because it involves the language, it involves the commonness of language. But non-verbal communication is always continuous, because my body language is communicating. It is not for words, it is for the body language, it is the dresses I am wearing, right? So forms of communication is very very important from examination point of view, because I have shown you the previous year questions from that. Now we are discussing about the previous year questions. So this part, a quick and rapid revision. Forms of communication can be verbal communication can be divided into into oral or written. That means the quick catchword is we must know what is word. The moment we are talking about verbal communication, it involves words, and it can be spoken, it can be oral, or it can be written, that is verbal. Now the moment we are talking about non-verbal, it is the non-linguistic, that means the non-language, non-word, that is kinesis, that means body language, that is haptic, that means touch or tactile, that is proximus, that is space distance. In proximus we have to learn IPSP, that means first it comes intimate space, then it comes personal space, then social space, and following with the public space. So if we talk about intimate space, it's 45 centimeter to 1 feet. These are the things given. Now chronamics means language of time, and there is a confusion between chronamics and chromatics. In chronamics it means language of time, and in chromatics it means language of color. So we have paralanguage, we have pitch, tone, volume, tempo, rhythm, etc. So from this particular section we can expect one question in set examination, that is kinesis, body language, haptic touch, proximus is the space distance. Now moving back to our older section where we talked about the communication PYQ sections. So here, as we can see from these questions, we have jumped into our previous note. Here it is stating that the study of body language, gesture, posture, facial expression and body movement is known as kinesis, as we have discussed just now. The second question, they are stating that which of the following skills has the largest share in communication time in educational institution. So if we talk about educational institution, it's always listening, because it's not reading, writing, speaking. Now the next part is the in terms of communication, positive or negative assessment of an unexpected behavior is called valence. So there are different types of valence: the conditional valence, the expected valence, the assessed valence, the valence. So this particular term, this is pretty much unknown. So let's explore with the AI model ChatGPT. So I will be scanning this particular question. First of all, just let me scan it first, and I will ask ChatGPT to describe all the options and give a brief note of it. So in today's world we will be smart, right? We will be doing a smart study so that our work process comes very much easier in us. It becomes handy, right? Describe all options. Now I have just generated the prompt, and I have given it. So they are asking the question. I have generated the questions, so they are creating it. First of all, the question states that in terms of communication, positive or negative assessment of an unexpected behavior is called. So there are four options: conditional valence, expected valence, assessed valence and violation valence. So the correct option they are stating, it's that first of all they are saying that let's break down each option to understand. So ChatGPT is breaking down for us. Now the communication, this expectation, this was given by J.D. Bargan. So valence refers to the positive or negative assessment. The moment we are talking about valence, just a minute. The moment we are talking about positive violence or negative violence, that means violence refers to the positive or negative assessment, evaluation of an unexpected behavior. That means violence means evaluation of what? Evaluation of unexpected behavior. All right, evaluation of unexpected behavior, violation of social norms, expectations or personal space in a communication situation. Now if the unexpected behavior is seen as positive, example friendly gesture or stranger, it has positive valence. If it is positive, the behavior, positive valence, this is the keyword. If it seems negative, it is negative valence. Now the what we will be answering it, the first conditional valence, there is not a formal term, this is irrelevant. There is only positive valence and negative valence. Positive valence means there is only positive valence and negative valence. Positive valence means, what is the meaning of positive valence? Positive valence means the term positive effect. Negative valence means the term negative effect. All right. Now conditional valence, it is not a formal term used in major communication theories. It might imply a situation where the valence, positive or negative, of a behavior is dependent on certain conditions or context, but it is not a recognized EVT term. There is no expected valence, so the right answer will be only option number D, violation valence. All right, so now we will be talking about the next part. What it is? It is the in communication redundancy. Redundancy means the repetition. In communication, redundancy means the repetition. Repetition means what? Repetition means something like, I don't know what, I don't know the exact word, I can't remember the redundancy. We have talked about the model, right? Just a minute, we have talked about the particular model. The moment we talk about the model, redundancy model, where are you, model? Yes, here it is. Redundancy, the repetition one. Yeah, it's in the mathematical model, the information model of communication. Information model of communication. What is the meaning of information model of communication? Information model of communication. Here we know that there are three levels: the channel noise, the semantic noise, the effective noise. So the entropy means problem, redundancy means opposite to entropy, meaning highly predictable. Now we are moving back to our question answer part. So it is known as repetition, the predictable redundancy, predictable repetition. The knowledge or skills a communicator brings to an interaction is identified as pre-interactional expectations. The knowledge or skill, it is known as pre-interactional expectation. All right, now the pre-international expectation. The next question which we have, the knowledge or skill communicator brings to an interaction is defined as pre-interactional expectations. Obstacles which distort the meaning of a message is a communication are termed as semantic barriers. The obstacles which obstacles which distorts the meaning of a message in a communication is termed as semantic barriers. Communicating with the spirits and ancestors is termed as transpersonal communication. Spirits and ancestors is known as transpersonal communication. The next thing what we have in a group, the logical sequence of effective communication follows the following step. If we talk about the effective communication, it is forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. No, this is not a Kali mantra. This is just forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. Which of the following is not a principle of effective communication? One-way transfer of information. So they are telling not. We must remember the term not. So which of the following is not a principle of effective communication? Is one-way transfer of information. Now moving to the next part, in communication, cues related to how people perceive, use or respond to time are called chronemics, which we have discussed, the chronemic cues. The study of role of time in communication is known as chronemics. The role of time is known as chronemics. So this is the repetitive part. This question is very much important, as you can see. Now we have N culture and Aku culture. What is it? That means the process of learning about our own culture, which is transmitted from one generation to another generation. It's N culture. All right, this is from teaching aptitude. The next question, what we can see, a sound or expression which conveys a strong emotion is explained as, the moment we are talking about expressing a strong emotion, it is interjection. Now what can chroma key effect describe? It's video editing effect. If you are a video editor, you will be knowing that chroma key, the green screen, the moment we are shooting any green screen effect, then we use the chroma key effect or the video editing effect. Now the Buddhist concept of communication discourages news interview that promotes excessive individualism. The Buddhist concept of communication discourages news interviews that promotes excessive individualism. Then what next we have? We have the concept of equal rights to communication for all, representing a partial cross communication modality is referred to as transculturation. The concept of equal right, the moment we are talking about the concept of equal rights to communication for all, it's the representing a partial cross communication modality. That means it refers to as transculturation. Then what next we have? We have which is not a characteristics of new communication technology. Which of the following is not a characteristics of new communication technology? It's unilinearity. Unilinearity is not a characteristics of new communication technology. So now next what we have assertion and reasoning. The assertion is stating that media cannot set any agenda for the society. They are stating that media cannot set any agenda for the society, and the reason is that media audience selects content of its choice. So the second one is right. Media always sets agenda because we have different settings, agenda setting theory as well. So if a person engaged in two activities simultaneously, like watching TV and reading a magazine, it is called polychronic behavior. Poly, that means two. If a person, the mono means one, uni, poly, you know this particular term. So they are telling us, if a person engage in two activities simultaneously, like watching TV and reading a magazine, it is called polychromic behavior. The next what we have? Next we have that redundancy. This is a repeat question. Redundancy is a repeat question. Redundancy is a repeat question. Then we have chronemics is a repeat question. Haptics, kinesics is a repeat question. So they are telling that redundancy helps solving problem associated with media, obviously. Then what next we have? In communication, cognitive dissonance. Cognitive means mental ability, dissonance means something is not aligned. Cognitive dissonance brings about psychological conflicts. That means what is it? A smoker is smoking, but at the back of the mind he is thinking smoking causes cancer. So he will do it. The cognitive dissonance, he might counter it's okay, all smokers are not getting cancer. So that is the cognitive dissonance, that is the conflict in oneself, the white and the black, right? So now the next point which we will be discussing is the word journalist. It's pretty obvious, we have studied it pretty much time. The word journalist came from the word journalist. Then what we have? We have structural complexity in communication. If it is structural complexity, it's the organizational barrier. The moment we are talking about structural complexity, it's organizational barrier. The utilization of personal space and physical environment for communication is known as proximus. The utilization of personal space and physical environment for communication is known as proximus. Now what next we have? We have, as regarded the use of space, identify the order of distance zones in relation about body language. That means intimate space, this is also we have discussed. IPSP, first it comes the intimate space, intimate zone, personal zone, social zone, then public zone. Now they are telling that transforming thoughts, idea and message into verbal or non-verbal signs is referred as encoding. The next what we have? Dash refers to the information that is false and inaccurate and is often spread widely with others. That's misinformation. Misinformation is false, it's not accurate. The next question what we have, what types of communication is meditation? Is intra. The moment we are talking about inter, আমি তোমার সাথে এন্টার আড্ডা মেরেছি, that is inter, that means I and you, and intra means the communicating with oneself. The next question what we have that arrange the following in ascending order. So first it comes the remembering. This is a question from teaching aptitude. By mistake I have pasted this particular section here, but it will be remembering, it will be understanding, it will be applying, it will be analyzing, and it will be creating. The next portion what we have a assertion and reasoning question. That means mass communication is associated with well structured institutional system. The assertion is stating mass communication is associated with well structured institutional system, and the reasoning is stating that mass communication is characterized by an interplay of interpersonal personality. So the correct answer will be both A and R are true, and R is the right explanation of A. The next what we have the semantic noise affects the understanding of the message. Obviously, the assertion, the critical, this question is from critical theory. As you can see, that unlike mass communication, semiology prefers a microscopic approach. This is the assertion. Unlike mass communication, semiology prefers a microscopic approach. And the reasoning is, in semiology, the emphasis is on deconstruction of text with surgical precision. Both A and R are true. Next, what we have, the study of body movement, gesture, postures, facial expression, etc. in communication is known as kinesis. See, kinesis is also repeating much. Now we have group mediated communication. This is also a repeat question. So in WB set we can see many repeat questions. See group mediated communication, see group mediated communication. So what they are telling, a teleconference between Sanjay, this question is directly copied. Now what we have we have a assertion and reasoning that the public sphere, Jugen Habermas public sphere, if you can remember, the public sphere can seldom be effectively constituted and maintained through dialogues, acts or speech and decisions. So the reason is, but Jugen Habermas claims that public debate can be animated by opinion forming. So A is false, but Jugen Habermas' speech is right. So first of all, assertion, why assertion is false? Because the public sphere can seldom be effectively constituted. No, it is not seldom effectively constituted. In the next question, what we have the mass communication, the selective perception, that is the predisposition. If we talk about selective perception is predisposition. Now we will be talking about, see again, IPSP, the Proximus. That means the study of use of space in human communication is known as Proximus. Then we have a assertion and reasoning, stereotyping. They are talking about stereotyping. The moment we had talked about the cultural studies, we talked about stereotyping. So stereotyping is a weapon in the hands of the ruling elite to show the others in poor light. Isn't it? Yes, it is. The society does not have the media power to fight back. So A is true and R is true, and R is not the correct explanation. Both are true, but it's not the correct explanation. Now we have aberrant decoding. The moment we are talking about aberrant decoding, Armando Eco, you must understand this term. Aberrant decoding refers to dismissing modes of codes of encoding and decoding. Then we have grapevine. This is a informal communication. Grapevine communication, it is in organization, it is practiced in organization. Now the next what we have that which of the following is the commonest grapevine chain. See, grapevine is also very important from NTU, UGC NET and WB set. So they are telling grapevine, their multiple questions are being asked from grapevine communication. So grapevine, it's a cluster chain. Now the second last question, the second last was which questions we will be taking is, dash is communication that is used primarily to influence an audience and further an agenda in which information will be specially of a biased and misleading nature. The moment we are talking about information which is biased and misleading, it will be nothing less than propaganda. The last question states that media is transforming partial ideology. Gender research is confined only to the issue of stereotyping in media. Both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. So thank you guys for connecting at ease no media, where we discuss related topics at ease.